To begin, go ahead and select the debug odd or even exercise. Alright, so now that you have learned all about the tips and the tricks and the steps to go through to debug your code, it's time to put some of that into action. In the upcoming 3 lessons, I've got a bunch of code that you've already written before. The first one, for example, is the odd or evens code challenge that you did a long time ago. Now, the important thing is for you to not just go back to the old code, copy it, paste it in, submit, done. That isn't going to teach you anything. There's no point doing this if you're not going to learn. But instead, what I want you to do is to look at the code, see what it's meant to do. So, for example, in this case, we're trying to input a number, and then we're trying to get our code to check to see if it's an odd number or an even number, and then print it out. Now, in most of these upcoming code exercises, they're going to be broken, but it's your job to try and fix it to make sure that it does what it's supposed to. In this case, you should be able to type in a number and it should print, this is an even number if it's even, this is an odd number if it's odd. Once you've spotted the problem and debugged and fixed your code, then I'll go through the solution with you. So pause the video now. Alright, so as always, let's first hit run to see if it actually works or not. And in this case, it doesn't even run. It gives us a syntax error straight away. And it tells us that on line 3, we've got some invalid syntax. Now, on line 3, that's actually not all that specific. But notice how sometimes when you get errors, it's actually nice enough to have a little arrow pointing towards the bit of the code in that line that it thinks is problematic. So let's try and fix this error before we proceed. So why does it have an issue with this equal sign? Well, remember that 2 equal signs is checking and 1 equal sign is assignment. So in this case, we're actually saying number modulo 2 should be equal to 0, which is nonsense. It doesn't actually make any sense. Instead, what we wanted was 2 equal signs so that we can check that the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. And now if we hit run and we enter a number, it should now work. Did you manage to get it right? If not, be sure to review some of the lessons on debugging and try to apply it in the next exercise. So once you're ready, head over to the next lesson.